year over Skype now. I've been working with a teacher called Dan Eisner, who some of you may not remember. Timing was really difficult, having him in Pittsburgh and me in New Zealand, 16-hour time difference. You know, I'd always be rushing home from basketball and rugby trainings. Both sports I love, but I had to give up rugby due to school and Hebrew studies being my top priority. But being able to share this special day with friends and family is really a true blessing and true honor. I haven't been to a Bar Mitzvah since I was about 4 years old now, and I do recall attending my close friend Nathan Wexler's Bar Mitzvah in California. And Nathan was such a confident and an excellent example. It was his Bar Mitzvah that originally inspired me to do this. I was born in Berkeley Hospital, with the first 5 years of my life living in Oakland, California, and then many years to come afterwards in Motueka, New Zealand. And I've just recently moved to Christchurch, New Zealand. And today I'm going to talk to you about some people who also traveled for a long time in their journey. The Israelites. I'm going to take you through my Parsha, Maseh. In English, that's the marches. So the Israelites needed a new home. Right? They were living under horrible conditions in slavery in Egypt, also known as Mitzrayim. They escaped, fleeing Egypt for a better life. They traveled for 40 years, often staying in more than one place for quite some time. In my Torah portion, the first several pages, they named place names like Sukkot and Ramses. And in my first reading of it, I was like, I didn't understand why I need to know all these place names. I didn't understand why it mattered where they stopped. But in conversation and study, I came to realize that for me and you, those place names might just be a bunch of meaningless places. But to the Israelites, each place has its own story. Each place has its own memory for those who made the journey. Because if one does not experience for him or herself, can one remember? It helped me to understand why this seemingly meaningless story actually is quite relevant. So what we need to realize is that traveling is so much more than it sounds. Just like when I said I traveled and lived throughout New Zealand and America, to you that may have just sounded like nothing interesting, just a few place names. But for me, those experiences, they helped make who I am today. They helped shape my character. Here's another example. So, I've been to many different countries, and what I've experienced in each one is something I wouldn't change for all the money in the world. Traveling lets me see how other cultures operate. It lets me look at life through a different lens. It lets me understand how hard some people have it, and how good others have it, and not to judge either one. I realize how fortunate I am, and I appreciate it so much more. I feel like if I hadn't traveled, I wouldn't appreciate that anywhere near as much. So you see, these experiences, they really do affect our actions much more than one may think. And the Israelites traveling makes them the people they are, and the experiences they had during their journey and how it shaped their characters. This prepared them for the ultimate home in the Promised Land. But essentially behind all this, the message is life is just a continuous journey. So during their journey, many positive and negative things occurred. This included people harming each other and from time to time even murders taking place. So they created what is called cities of refuge, where a person accused of murder could flee to until they had a proper trial. They set these cities up to protect the murderers from revenge. Many murders were really accidents, and these places, these cities of refuge, allowed for fairness and justice. This was really set up for what we call manslaughter, people who committed crime without intent to kill. However, there were people who really did mean to commit murder, and their punishment was to be immediately executed. And for it to be considered as murder, 2 or more people had to have witnessed it. But personally, I'm well against the death penalty, no matter what, at all costs. I think that no matter what happens, a human should never be executed. Yeah, there are vicious people out there, and their punishment should be harsh, but never taking their life. Why? Because if we take the murderer's life for equality or justice, then we have to ask, what's the difference between the murderer and the society that puts the murderer to death? In New Zealand, we don't have the death penalty. I know here in the US, it's a subject of debate. But for me, the question is what the ethics of society are. And should a modern society have ethics that better than that of a killer? Actually, this question applies to many other situations. So for example, I was playing rugby in a tournament, and the other team were playing super dirty and violent, horrible, and my team and I, we decided, we're not going to play like them. We're not going to take their actions just because they did it. Oh yeah, we can do it too, it's only fair. And we didn't do it back. What we did was we left the field straight away, we filed a complaint, and the other team was kicked out of the tournament straight away. This is fair, and we preserved our ethics that rugby is not a dirty sport. So when I decided to do a Bar Mitzvah, it was a number of years ago. I was just a little boy, and it was truly 100% my choice to do this. I was a little shorter, a little chubbier, and maybe a little more innocent, but there was one thing that never changed. And that was my passion to learn new things, my passion to achieve. And I guess having a Bar Mitzvah does make the family happy. But for me, I like setting goals, and I like achieving them. And I must admit, probably like many of us here, I'm often motivated by the achievement that comes rather than the process to get there. But one of the reasons I wanted to do this was for family. When I say that, you're going to be thinking, oh yeah, he doesn't want to disappoint family, everyone else did it, so he's going to do it too. It wasn't like that. That theory never it didn't come into my mind until just recently. But I wanted to do it because, everyone did it and I didn't want to miss out. So, my mom had a Bar Mitzvah, my mother had a Bar Mitzvah, my uncles had a Bar Mitzvah, and just a few years ago, my Bubby had her Bar Mitzvah. And I didn't want to miss out on what all my family had just because I lived in a foreign country where there wasn't much Jews. Most importantly, it was my beautiful Bubby. She encouraged me to do this more than anyone in this world. Her love for Judaism and her love for me are some of the 2 biggest things in her heart. And I know combining the 2 has made her so, so happy. Now the other big reason I wanted to do this was because when I decided to do it, I was going into high school at the time and I didn't know how to study. I mean, neither did anyone else, but I wanted to do better than them, and I wanted to excel. But I thought in doing this, I should learn to study. It's a great, helpful, useful skill. I'm sure all of us pretty much here has it. And I wanted it. Now I have it, and I've learned so much more in the process. So just being here, I'm already so, so happy. This is such a special moment in my life. I'm so blessed to have all you here today. This is the biggest step in my life for me. And to me, just being able to lead this service and read from the Torah, it's the best gift I could ever ask for. It's the best gift I've ever received. And I've received many awards. I've achieved some great things, but never have I ever had a moment like this. They've been good, but nothing compares to being able to share what you've been working up to for a long time, and working hard to a whole room of people I love, people I'm over the moon to see, and fantastically, people I don't even know very well who took the time to come here today. So I'm grateful to many people for helping me today. And to name names is going to be really difficult because, over the time of thinking who would be pleased that I did this, it's really hard. But I want to start by first expressing my gratitude to my immediate family, my little Poland family up here. And, mostly to my parents, but I guess you could throw my brothers on the bandwagon, so they helped out too. These guys helped me get to class on time. They motivated me so well. And Dad. So my father, he's not Jewish. He didn't grow up Jewish. But, he raised me and my brothers excellently, at least I feel. And he's made some right decisions, the right decisions all the time. But there was one decision that I'm probably the most grateful for that he's ever done. Apart from being my mom. And that is, he allowed, his family to be fully Jewish. He allowed to bring Judaism into his life. And he learns prayers with us, he does Shabbat with us. And he let me do this. He helped motivate me with the best, not experiencing what most of you guys have experienced, having a Bar Mitzvah and doing Judaism your whole life. He didn't have that. And without having that, he's given all that he can to me to help me prepare for this moment. And I'm so grateful to him. Yeah. And now Mom. And really, there's not much,